my next question. How to be a white ally in a way that isn't uh, stepping on, I don't know, maybe the right way to put it is going outside your lane, trying to dominate. What is most needed of white allies? How are we what can we use the best in terms of using our own privilege to be that?
Yeah, so that question came up to me directly on yesterday. And actually since the George Floyd assassination, I've had many allies to call and say, "What do you need, or how much do you need?" Or if you know someone who is in need. So being supported financially in these times is key, because in this situation, money for bail, uh, money for attorney representation. So just on a whole, I think whatever resources white allies have, let's be practical about it. In this whole COVID era, we can't talk about any of this without talking about COVID. There are people who simply need to be able to live, to eat. Um, if white privilege can be used to help families get a house, let's do that. Um, White privilege used to get people transportation, let's do that. I think that we're waiting, and I think it's a mental thing. We're waiting on reparations, but reparations can be now. Reparations now. So any form of reparations that can take place immediately, I would ask that white allies be very intentional and willing to begin that process.
Yes, I agree. I mean, people have different ideas of what reparations is. And some people would argue that if you're not funding straight out revolution, then you're not really paying reparations. You're doing a form of charity. Here's where I would disagree on that. We need to create the conditions for individual Black people to come together in revolutionary activity. Part of creating that conditions involves using the greater societal actual monetary wealth that we have been granted, that we have to accept that the fact that we have higher wealth has a lot to do with that we do live at the expense of Black and brown and indigenous communities. We have from the start in this nation. Mm-hmm. So if you're giving that societal wealth over, even if it's to individual people just to help them get by, you're helping the conditions of revolutionary activity. That's my feeling on it. I know there's mixed feelings, and some people would say, no, that's just individual charity. I am personally of the belief that white people cannot give charity to Black people, brown people, indigenous people. The example I use is this. If somebody steals your TV set and then lets you watch it for 10 minutes a week, are they giving you charity? It's a stolen TV set. You took that property. So there is no charity there. We're kind of incapable of that, given our historical role and the historical bloodline and where it's led to right now. And we're in this moment, and I'm seeing a lot of white people, shall we say, coming to a place of some wokeness. I'm seeing some wokening going on, but we can't stop and pat ourselves on the head and give ourselves cookies. We have to take that to its natural conclusion, and reparations is a lot of that. Over. Even though in interviews you don't say over, but I do.
Yeah, I agree. I think that again, allowing Black and brown people to determine how they feel about what they're receiving is essential too. Allow them to say what it is that they need. And I can tell you during this COVID experience, beyond, the needs are still great. There are folks that still haven't gotten unemployment checks. There's folks that still are having food issues, lack of food. There's food deserts are increasing because we're seeing that some stores may not even return to where they were. So it's there, the needs are still great. And I don't think it's charity, even if it's a right now thing. I think people have to be fed, clothed, hydrated in order to fight the revolution. So I think there's various phases of reparations that can um, be just as essential.